Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to All Levels Yoga. Please get your blocks and strap ready. Let's begin sitting down. So we finished our exploration of the first limb of yoga, the yamas. And now we begin the second limb of yoga, the niyamas. Here's a little bit about them by Donna Farhi in her book, Yoga, Mind, Body, and Spirit, A Return to Wholeness. The yamas and niyamas are emphatic descriptions of what we are when we are connected to our source. Rather than a list of do's and don'ts, they tell us that our fundamental nature is compassionate, generous, honest, and peaceful. What these first central precepts, the yamas and niyamas, ask us to remember is that the techniques and forms are not goals in themselves, but vehicles for getting to the essence of who we are. Yoga is not about self-improvement or making ourselves better. It is a process of deconstructing all the barriers we may have erected that prevent us from having an authentic connection with ourselves and with the world. This tenet is an extremely important one because the effort to change and improve ourselves is fraught with a risk of subtle self-aggression that only produces more unhappiness. We cannot strive towards something we already are. Oh, I love that. Because in trying to be better than who we are right now, it's overlooking the core of who we are, which is always there, that can get compounded by the stuff, the conditioning, all the reactions to the outside world and all of that. So here we're deconstructing rather than trying to stop that or don't do this. I love that explanation of it. And so today we dive into the first niyama, which is shaucha. And shaucha means living purely. And as Donna says, it involves maintaining a cleanliness in body, mind, and environment so that we can experience ourselves at a higher resolution. I'll repeat that. Shaucha is living purely, and it involves maintaining a cleanliness in body, mind, and environment so that we can experience ourselves at a higher resolution. So let's begin this process of connecting with our bodies and observing our minds and finding purity and balance of breath so that we can sit at the end, hopefully having uncovered some of the muck that may attach onto our core being and sit with an intimate date with our core being in meditation. So now as you sit here, take a moment to shift around if you haven't already. Just feel into your body. Feel into what is physically supporting your body underneath. Feel into the way your body is breathing right now. And if your eyes are open, maybe even look around and see, is there anything that might be drawing your attention elsewhere, like a cell phone, having messages blinking. Maybe even put the cell phone out of sight or silent as well, so that you can really commit to this practice that you are gifting yourself in its wholeness to fully benefit from it. And then with that, let's set the left hand on the center of your chest, the right hand on the center of your lower belly. And let's begin the practice, maybe setting an intention if you have one, or dedicating your practice for someone or something. And as we sort of put our forces together, let's do that through sound, the vibration of Om, 3 chants. Take a deep breath in. Allow your breath to slow down, filling up into your belly, into your lungs, to the top of your chest, and slowly through the mouth, let it go. Inhaling a little slower. Feel the fullness of your breath expanding within your body, and then exhale through your mouth a little slower. One more like that, maybe even taking a little longer. Now I invite you to close your lips and continue to breathe through your nose. If that's feasible for you, you're not congested. And focus on really expanding your belly and lungs so you feel your rib cage broaden. You're using your diaphragm, you're breathing into your abdomen, full breaths in, equal exhales through the nose. We're going to quicken the breath in a style of breathing called Bhastrika Pranayama, bellows breath. It's a wonderful way to cleanse the lungs, as well as enhance its intake of oxygen. Set the timer for 1 minute in just a moment, but to demonstrate, we begin with the elbows bent out to the sides and hands like fists. The shoulders are relaxed, you're sitting tall, and as you breathe in through the nose, you raise your arms straight, spread your fingers wide, and as you breathe out through the nose, you rebend your elbows and refist your hands like this. Really full breaths, in, out, so your lungs, your belly act like a bellow, right? Like an accordion. All right, so I'm gonna set the timer. Let's prepare with the elbows bent for 1 minute of bellows breath. Ready? Begin. Relax. Just breathe naturally for a moment. Rest your hands, observing the effects of that practice. As you continue to breathe through your nose, let's begin Ujjayi Pranayama, a warming, focusing breath, where you're softly narrowing the back of your throat, creating a gentle whisper as you breathe in and out, sustained and equally through the nose. Full breath in, still using your diaphragm, expanding belly and lungs. Equal length breath out. Gently whispering. So as you pay attention to that, let's come on down to our backs. Just take a moment to bend your knees. You can either open your arms wide, ground the shoulders, or hold on to your knees and just organically rotate your thighs at your hip sockets. Just gently loosening your hips and massaging your back against the ground, massaging your glutes against the ground, any direction here that feels good. Breathing in, breathing out through the nose. You could even cross over your body with one leg and the other, help to stimulate the brain as well. Still listening to the sound of your breath. Step your left foot on the ground and cross your right ankle over your left thigh for thread the needle. Flexing your right foot, thread your right hand between your thighs, and then catch hold of your left thigh with two hands. Grounding your head and shoulders. Gently bring your left leg closer to your torso. And you could nudge your inner right thigh open here with your right elbow or forearm. Still flexing your right foot, curling the toes back towards your right kneecap in support of the knee. Let's take 3 more breaths. We're going to do a bit of activation for our Manipura chakra, which is the solar plexus energy center. And as I've been taking this yoga psychology course, it's so exciting to learn more about the chakras, in that they are very correlated to the endocrine system, and the various glands actually situate alongside the chakras that have a similar quality. All right, so let's set the right foot down, switch legs, cross the left ankle over your right thigh, flexing your left foot. Thread your left hand between your thighs, catching hold of your right thigh or shin with both hands. Slowly bringing your right leg towards your body. As you splay open your left thigh, you can nudge it gently with your left arm. Still full, audible, softly audible breaths. So the Manipura chakra is responsible for our ability to be in line with our core values, to have a sense of purpose and fire to that purpose, meaning that we are inspired to act upon our purpose. Let's take at least 3 more breaths here. And the Manipura chakra is located in the upper abdominal area below the lowest ribs. And it's not only in the front of the body, but also the back. As you may already remember that the 7 chakras, or the 7 main energy centers, are situated up and down along the spine. So yes, that's going to involve quite a bit of core and abdominal strengthening in terms of movements. All right, so from here, bending both knees, separate your legs about hips width apart, parallel your shins to the floor. You can keep your feet relaxed. It's up to you if you want to flex them. And then as you notice the space between the ground and your lower back, most of us have a curvature, so there's a space there. Don't actually flatten your lower back, but can you shorten the space between the ground and it by contracting the abdomen? Now, keeping that contraction, we're going to accentuate it by pressing the palms onto your knees. So you're pushing away your thighs towards your knees, and your thighs are actually resisting back against your palms. So with that, there's no visible movement, but you should feel a deeper contraction in your abdomen. Now the shoulders are relaxed on the floor, the neck is a natural curve, and you're still practicing Ujjayi Pranayama. So as you press your knees away, your thighs resist back, taking deep breaths, filling up the lungs, the belly, listening to the whisper out through the nose. Now keep pressing your right knee as the thigh presses back. And inhale, slowly straighten your left leg forward, left arm raises overhead, relaxing the shoulder so that your left heel hovers about 2 inches off the floor. Keep pressing the right knee. Exhale, left palm on left knee. They return to press against each other. Inhale, straighten the right leg forward, hover the heel about 2 inches off the ground, right arm reaches overhead, shoulder stays relaxed. Exhale, right hand to right knee again. Inhale, left leg, left arm stretch. Exhale, left knee and palm reunite. Inhale, right leg, right arm stretch. Exhale, right knee, right palm reunite. Keep going. Inhale, left side. Exhale, knee and palm touch. Inhale, right side. Exhale, reunite. Inhale, left. Exhale, reunite. Inhale, right. Relaxing the face. Exhale, reunite. We have 3 more on each side. Inhale, left. Exhale, reunite. Inhale, right. Draw in your front ribs. Make sure they're not protruding towards the sky. Exhale, reunite. Inhale, left. Exhale, reunite. Inhale, right. Exhale, reunite. Last one on each side. Inhale, left. Exhale, reunite. And inhale, right. Exhale, reunite. And then from here, catch hold of the backs of your thighs and begin to rock and roll forward and back several times. You might even take a partial halasana if your neck feels fine with it. That means legs overhead. Really just massaging up and down the back of your spine. Take at least one more rock and roll before you land sitting up. And then once sitting up, let's come on to hands and knees, all fours. Spin out your fingertips to face the outer edges of your mat or your knees. Step your knees a couple inches behind your hips, entering Bitalasana or cat-cow. On your next in-breath, glide your chest through your upper arms, then coil it up. Look up, shoulders drop. Exhale, round your back, look down, tuck the tailbone under, firm the belly in. Again, inhale, lengthen the spine first, then press the heart through the upper arms, look towards the sky. Exhale, contract the abdomen, dropping the head and tailbone. Take at least 3 more cycles on your own, listening to your own pace of breath. On your next exhalation, relax to a neutral spine. Spin your index fingers to face forward, and let's prepare for a twist. Inhale, raise your left arm towards the sky, opening your chest. Exhale, thread your left arm underneath your right bent elbow, lowering the left side of your skull on the floor or on top of a prop. Flaring your right elbow up, away from the ground. Send your right hip towards your rear wall, leveling the height of your hips. And as you breathe out, gently rotate your rib cage deeper into the twist. Let's take 3 more breaths here. At the end of your exhale, press up to all fours again. Preparing for side 2, inhale, raise your right arm, open the chest. Exhale, thread it underneath your left bent elbow. Rest the right side of your head on the floor or on a prop. And as your left elbow points up towards the sky, send your left outer hip slightly back towards your rear wall. Keeping the balance and height of your hips, allow your rib cage to rotate. Deep inhale, smooth exhale, 3 more breaths. And let's press up into downward facing dog. Parallel your index fingers so they're both facing forward. Widen your thumbs to face each other flat, and then tucking your toes. Take a moment when you arrive in downward dog to pedal your feet. Those of you that are really wanting to stretch the backs of your legs, your calves and hamstrings, that can be very helpful. Or maybe softly shake and nod your head. Whatever movement feels good for you for a few breaths. Take a look at your hands and make sure that your wrists are shoulders width apart, not too wide, not too narrow. And then really ground in between your thumb and index fingers. And as you do that, rotate the outer sides of your upper arms downward so that you can broaden across your shoulders, letting your head drop. Now bend your knees and lift your hips as high as you can, pulling your hips back away from your hands towards your rear wall. Find the fullest length of your spine that way and firm in your abdomen. Now begin to firm the fronts of your thigh bones back, sinking your heels deeper and deeper towards the ground, even if they don't touch. See that your feet are hips distance apart. Your second toes are parallel to each other. Now steady your gaze on something and let's take 3 more deep breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your next inhale, rounding like cat pose, contract your belly, tuck chin to chest, and roll forward into plank pose. Landing with a feeling of a flat back as you gaze a foot ahead of your hands in the ground. We're here for about 5 breaths, so if you want to modify, you can set your knees down for added support. Keep broadening your chest, your shoulder blades apart as you extend your sternum forward. Lift your lower belly and firm your heels back if your legs are straight. Feel that your quadriceps are alive here. 2 more breaths. Now as you shift forward, let your shoulders shift a foot ahead of your wrists. So with an exhale, glide as forward as far as you can. You're on the very tips of your toes. Bend your elbows back, passing through 90-degree bends as your elbows graze your side ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana and slowly come all the way down. Sphinx pose. So as you arrive, slide your forearms forward, lifting your chest so that your elbows land about 1 inch in front of your shoulders. With palms face down and still, give the energy to your shoulders as if you're dragging your palms back towards your hips. So you're broadening your chest and extending it forward as you look on the ground ahead. Let's take another 5 breaths here. Up to you if you want to move your head gently or just gaze forward. So feel your legs energized here. You're actively lengthening your toes back as they're pointed and every toenail is firming into the floor. Your knees are lifted off the ground through the energy of your legs, but your pelvis is rooted. 1 more deep breath in Sphinx pose. So as you're creating this back bend, you feel that area of the Manipura chakra in the back body, just below your lowest ribs and center. Kidney area. And then as you exhale, lower your forehead to the ground, interlace your fingers behind your lower back. Inhale, lift everything you can. Feet stay parallel as you're pointing your toes, oiling your chest up. Another 4 deep breaths, your count. Bound locust pose. So here, avoid turning out your feet by thinking of spiraling your inner thighs towards your ceiling. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and lengthen the back of your neck. Hands are reaching towards your heels as your fingers are interlaced. And when you exhale, let's return to Sphinx pose. Elbows to the ground. Exactly, shoulders distance apart. Now in Sphinx, tuck your toes behind you and firm your heels back. So much your knees are lifted off the ground. Then lift your belly away from the floor, draw your shoulder heads back, look on the ground just ahead of your thumbs, just slightly ahead. Take a deep breath in, think of a long spine, long neck, and as you exhale, lift your pelvis and you're arrived in forearm plank pose. Breathe in, bring your feet to touch. Exhale, 5. Inhale, keep gazing just in front of your thumbs. Exhale, 4. Inhale, lift your lower belly and the sides of your waist. Exhale, 3. Inhale, active through the legs, pressing the heels back. Exhale, 2. Smile, this is the last breath here. And then exhale, child's pose. Bring your knees to the floor, feet together, knees together or apart. Extend your arms forward. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Now keep your hips low towards your heels and begin walking your hands over to the right outside of your mat for a lateral lengthening or extension of the spine. Opening the left side body, you may like to step your left hand on top of your right, and even think of breathing deeper into the left side of your rib cage. Then begin walking your hands through the center of your mat, switching over to the left outside the mat. And perhaps you step your right palm on top of the left. Maybe breathe a little deeper into the right ribs. Coming back through center, place your hands alongside your knees, separate your feet hips width, tuck your toes, and with your knees very bent, arrive at a standing forward fold at the rear of your mat, pressing your fingertips on your shins or the floor ahead. Inhale, glide your chest through your upper arms, lengthening your spine. Exhale, hinge forward. From down through your feet, inhale, sweep your arms overhead to rise up. Watch your palms meet. And exhale, bring your hands down together at your heart. Let's take a couple half sun salutations here. Just listen to my voice because I'm going to step out. Inhale, circle your arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway, draw the chest forward. Exhale, fold again. I don't know if that song was stuck. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, mountain pose. One more. Breathing through the nose. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, look up. Exhale, Uttanasana, look down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway up. Exhale again, Uttanasana. From down to your feet, from the belly, inhale, rise. Gazing up again. And exhale, tracing your midline. Let's walk up to the front of your mat as we start a new flow, or a flow. We're gonna set the route slowly, establishing our alignment in the postures, and then we'll come into a continuous breath-led movement. So bring your feet together, big toes touching, heels slightly apart, preparing for chair pose for a few breaths. Let your knees come together as you bend your knees, sit back towards your heels, glide your shin bones back, sink your tailbone, but hug your front ribs in, and gaze forward or up. Relaxing the shoulders, broaden your chest for one more breath in. As you exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, press with your fingertips, rise halfway. Step into plank or float into chaturanga if you're ready to, lowering into your vinyasa of choice, either cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's slow it down from here. Feet are hips width apart, fingers are spread wide, a lot of stability through your palms. As you inhale, slowly raise your right leg back, keeping your hips level. So think of raising from your inner thigh. As you exhale, round forward like cat, bending your right knee towards your nose, and very softly land your right foot forward into a high lunge so that your feet are hips width apart, parallel. Bend your left knee, and you could always opt to lower your left knee entirely if you want more support. Coming into crescent lunge, root down through your feet and slowly rise up. So let's pause here and feel the alignment of your two hip bones evenly facing forward, your front knee bending just on top of the ankle. Left knee can stay bent, or if you feel like you're ready, you can straighten the left leg, just making sure the bowl shape of your pelvis is not spilling forward, but is remaining neutral and upright. With arms high, shoulders low, let's take 2 more breaths in crescent pose. Now try to keep your legs still, so they're energetically hugging your midline without any visible movement. Use your right hand to catch hold of your left wrist, lifting your spine, but keeping the shoulders relaxed, side bend to your right. Let's take a few breaths here. Keeping your feet firmly planted, your front knee bent right over the ankle. 2 more breaths in this side bend. Now we're going to transition into an upright twist where the arms are wide open like a T. So lifting your spine upright again, backstroke your right arm towards your rear wall, reach your left arm towards your front wall, and twist at your waist. Notice the hips are still facing forward here. Shoulder blades down the back. If you want to challenge your balance some more, if you're needing that, you can look behind you towards your right thumb. Let's take 2 more breaths in the twist. Feel that your torso is upright, vertical, rather than tilting towards the front of your mat. Now we're going to arrive in Warrior 2 by backstroking your left arm, spinning your left heel to the floor, right arm reaches towards front wall, and your chest is facing your left wall. Aligning your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Rotate your right sitting bone underneath your body, bending the front knee just over the ankle from the top of your left thigh bone towards your right wall. Check in with your breathing here. Now, keeping your legs in Warrior 2, let's prepare for Peaceful Warrior. Flipping your right palm to face up, lift your spine, and then laterally lean towards the rear of your mat. So your left hand just gently lands on your left leg, your right arm reaches overhead, and you're opening up your right side body in this spinal extension. Take another breath in. Exhale, cartwheel your hands into plank and keep lowering into your vinyasa. Whether that's cat-cow or full on into cobra or upward facing dog. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths. So this flow is meant to build a little heat for that fire of purification, that practice of saucha for the body. All right, side 2. Ground your fingers spread. Start with feet hips width apart. And keeping your hips squared, inhale, raise your left leg back. Rounding like cat, exhale, bend your left knee towards your nose. Gently land the left foot just inside of your left hand. So you're in a high lunge. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel. Bend your right knee. You have the option of lowering it to the floor. And from down through your feet to rise into crescent pose. Now let's take a few breaths. Feel that your right outer hip is slightly rotating forward. Your left outer hip is slightly tacking back. And the bowl shape of your pelvis is upright without your frontal hip bones gently towards your lowest front ribs. As the arms are straight up, the shoulders are relaxed. Gaze is steady for 2 more breaths. Now with your left hand, catch hold of your right wrist. Keep your legs as still as possible. Lift your spine and laterally lean towards your left wall, a side bend. Shoulders relaxing down, spine lifting from the pelvis, and then extending to the left. 2 more breaths. Preparing for an upright twist, lift your spine vertical, backstroke your left arm, reach the right arm forward, and twist at your waist, keeping your hips facing forward. If you find that your spine is tilting towards the front of your mat, you could bend your back knee a little more or place it on the ground. If you're looking for more challenge and balancing, you can look behind you towards your left thumb. Let's take 2 more breaths. Now entering Warrior 2, backstroke your right arm, reach the left arm forward, dropping the back heel, align the front heel to the arch of your back foot. As you wrap your left sitting bone under, straightening your right leg from the top of its thigh towards your left wall. Let's take a couple of breaths, gazing past your left hand. Now, keeping your front knee bent, prepare for peaceful warrior. Flip your left palm to face up, lift your spine, then sideways bend towards your rear wall. Right hand lightly lands on your right leg as your left arm reaches overhead. Shoulders relaxed. Now, sometimes there's a tendency to buckle in the front knee here where it turns to the right. Make sure that you're keeping it safely aligned with your middle toe, tracing the midline of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale your hands into plank and keep going through your vinyasa. Following your breath, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Let's slow down the breath for 3 cycles here in downward dog. With bent knees, look ahead of your hands. On empty breath, walk or float to the top. Let your feet touch. Then inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees to touch. Inhale, sit into chair. And exhale to rise. Let's flow now through the same sequence, 1 breath each movement. Steadying your breath to steady your mind. Inhale, sit into chair. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, float or step back to lower through your vinyasa. All the way through, let's meet in downward dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, round forward, stepping the right foot into a high lunge. Inhale, rise into crescent. Catch hold of your left wrist. Exhale, lift and side bend to your right. Lifting the spine vertically. Inhale, backstroke the right arm, entering an upright twist. Exhale, turn to your left, entering warrior 2, heel to arch. Inhale, flip the right palm, sweep it into peaceful warrior. Exhale, your hands touch the floor, all the way to your vinyasa. Breathing in to lift the chest. Breathing out, we meet in downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, round forward, stepping lightly into a high lunge. Inhale, rise into crescent. Catch the right wrist. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, backstroke the left arm to a twist. Turning right, exhale, land warrior 2, heel to arch. Flip the left palm. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, hands touch the ground in plank. Continue on to chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward. Exhale, downward for 3 to 5 breaths. Bending your knees, look ahead of your hands. Bottom of your exhale, walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Bending your knees, sink your hips. Inhale into chair pose. Now listen here, we're gonna change it up. Start to lift your right knee off the floor, flexing your right foot. Using your left hand to catch your outer right knee. Your right thumb to hook the outer crease of your right hip down. Try to keep your pelvic bowl upright, balanced and neutral as you begin to twist to your right, turning your chest. Perhaps reaching your right arm back or beginning to straighten the right leg by catching hold of the outer foot with your left hand and slowly kicking the right leg straight forward. Each inhale, press into the ground, rise tall. And as you exhale, continue to twist. If you're looking to challenge your balance some more, you can look back towards your right thumb. I think I'm okay here. Let's take 3 more breaths. Revolved, hand to big toe pose. Turning it into tree pose, bring your hands together at your heart, turn out your right thigh at the hip, and hug the inside of your left ankle, calf, or thigh for tree pose. Feel your pelvic bowl's orientation. Again, find that centering by leveling your hips. And then play with it. Perhaps you bring your arms overhead. Maybe you close your eyes. For those of you who ever need to recover from sprained ankles, I'm learning a lot about proprioception, and this is a great practice for that. Last 2 breaths. And step your right foot to kiss the left. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth wide and stick out your tongue, lion's breath. Nice cleansing, also purifying breath. One more. Inhale deeply. You could even open the eyes wide and cross them if you like. Let it go. All right, feet together, knees together. Sit back into chair to get our muscles and our legs ready to support. Shift your weight onto your right foot as you rise to stand on your right leg. Lift your left bent knee and flex the foot. Cross your right hand to catch your outer left knee. Hook your left thumb into the crease of your left outer hip, drawing it down, restabilizing your pelvic bowl. Breathe in, stand a little taller. Breathe out, use your obliques to twist to your left. Reaching your left arm back. You might add sliding your right hand down the outer edge of your left foot and kicking your left leg straight. Breathe in. Breathe out to twist some more. Maybe looking past your left thumb. Parita, Uttita, Hasta, Parangushtasana. Now, if you're looking behind you, begin to direct your gaze forward. Bring your hands together, your heart. Turn open your left thigh at the hip, entering tree pose. Left sole against inner right ankle, calf, or thigh. Rebalancing your pelvic bowl, connect to your center. Feel the ground underneath and utilize its support. Any variations with your arms, your eyes. Deep breath in. And exhale, set your left foot down. 2 lion's breaths. Inhale deeply. Stick out your tongue. Cross your eyes. Last time. Inhale, lift the arms. Coil your chest up, but draw your tailbone towards your heels. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Let's land on hands and knees to prepare for inversions. Now, if you have a headstand practice that you can go into on your own, feel free. Otherwise, you could choose dolphin pose or downward facing dog, variations with one leg up and then the other. When you lift a leg, whether in dolphin or downward dog, start with your feet together and try to keep your hips squared, like you're hugging your midline, and flex the lifted foot. Those of you that want to progress through the stages of entering Shirshasana, traditional headstand, I'll walk you through that. So if you're not, go ahead and do the others. So extending your arms forward, wrap your triceps downward. Interlace your fingers, make a little snail out of your pinky fingers. Root down your elbows, exactly shoulders width apart. And think of rebounding your weight off the floor through your forearms, outer wrists, and elbows. in order to lengthen your neck as much as possible. Then bring the very crown of your head to the ground, back of your skull gently supported by your inner palms. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, and walk your feet forward, keeping them together. Lifting your pelvis or tilting it towards upside down. Now you could play with lifting onto the tips of your toes, lifting one leg straight up and then switching, flexing the lifted foot and hugging your midline, squaring your hips. You might contract your belly and make a little cannonball position by bending your knees towards your belly. You should kind of feel like you're doing a sit-up as you begin to turn your pelvic bowl upside down, in which you might straighten your legs, keep hugging your midline, if so, flexing or flointing your feet, which is a combination of flexing and pointing. So whatever your inversion, see if you can take at least 5 deep breaths in it, and we'll eventually meet in child's pose. And when you do land in child's pose, taking your time, let's give the triceps and shoulders a stretch there by walking your elbows forward, shoulders width apart, not any wider, and lifting your palms to face each other so that you can press your fingertips together and trace your thumbs down the back of your neck. You might even walk your elbow tips another inch or so forward if you want to go a little deeper into the tricep stretch. And draw your shoulder blades down your back. Pelvis is sinking down to your heels, giving the lower back a stretch. Let's take another 4 breaths in child's pose with this variation. And as you extend your arms forward, let's slither down onto your belly for a couple more active back bends. Coming right into bow pose, Dhanurasana. Rest your forehead on the ground, scoot your knees as close together as you can. Then reaching your hands back, catch hold of your outer feet as you bend both knees. Press your pubic bone onto the ground as you begin to kick your legs back towards straight, while pulling your feet towards your glutes. So those counter forces lift your knees while coiling your chest up. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and give yourself at least 5 deep breaths. We're going to do this one last time, so we'll rest in between. Try to feel that your knees are not splaying wider than your hips distance so that you can support your lower back. Once you've let it go to rest, you may like to make a pillow out of your forearms and rest your head onto one side, pigeon toe the feet. That can help to gently stretch across your lower back. Take 3 belly breaths here. As you breathe into your belly, you're adding some more pressure into it to give it a massage to stimulate your digestion. And deep abdominal breaths are also very calming for your nervous system. So for this last round, you can do it exactly the same way if you like, or change it up. Let's see if I can give this one a try. By crossing your forearms. That's a nice one for the brain. So to do that, scoot your knees as close together as you can if you're going to do that one. And then bend your knees, cross your right arm to catch hold of your inner left foot or ankle. Then cross your left arm above or underneath the right arm to catch hold of your inner left ankle. So right hand catches left ankle, left hand catches right ankle. Press your pubic bone into the ground, and then create those counter forces of kicking your legs towards straight as you pull your ankles or feet, coiling your chest up. You may even like to roll over to one side completely and give your inner shoulder a deep stretch on the ground. Maybe over to one other side too. At least 5 deep breaths in this posture. Bow pose, Dhanurasana variation. And when you've let it go, turn your head to the other side, give your neck a gentle stretch. Whether you pigeon toe your feet again or windshield wiper your shins side to side, a little more active to release your lower back. Another 3 deep abdominal breaths. And let's press up gently onto hands and knees. Give our calves a little more stretch by walking your hands back towards your knees, tucking your toes at the rear of your mat, coming into a standing forward fold. This will also give the back a stretch after that. And then cross your right foot over your left foot. So your right foot lands to the left side. Bend your right knee and keep your left leg relatively straight. Now you could place your hands wherever you like here. You can hold on to your shins, place blocks in front of you, catch hold of opposite elbows, or interlace your fingers behind if you need a little more heart opening. Let your head drop, relax your jaw. Maybe fluttering the lips. Let your weight shift forward a little heavier towards the balls of your feet than your heels. Feel your sitting bones rise. 2 more breaths. Can you feel where your left hamstring connects to your glutes? Right at the bottom of your butt cheek. All right, so let's uncross the legs. Come up halfway, lengthen the spine from the belly in. And then cross the left foot over the right. Bend the left knee, but keep the right leg straight. Folding in, hands wherever you like. Maybe a big sigh or 2 through the mouth, cooling off through the breath. Feel the connection between your right hamstring and your right glute. And if your calves are feeling pretty tight, you're feeling it there as well. There's definitely a calf stretch too. And if not, here's one more to give the calves some extra love. Uncross your legs, come up halfway, breathe in, and then bend your knees and lean back into or let your hamstrings touch your calves. Now, you could play with this. You can rock back a little so the heels begin to drop towards the ground. That depends on the flexibility of your Achilles tendon, whether that happens or not. You could lean forward more. And if your calves are really needing some deep tissue massage, maybe not now, but some other time, you can grab roll up a towel, not too thick, and then place it right at the meat of your calves as you sit onto that towel, really squeezing into it, helping to loosen up the calves that way. All right, let's come to sit with the legs forward and then onto your back. Just one more posture before Shavasana, lifting your legs up. So if you practice shoulder stand or plow, great, go ahead and practice that. Otherwise, you can simply lift your legs like this against a wall, or prop your sacrum on top of one or two blocks for more elevation of the pelvis, more stimulation of the blood flow towards the heart. Whatever cooling inversion, let it really feel like you're winding yourself down, preparing the body to be still, preparing the mind to slow down some more. A great breathing technique to help do that while you're here is counting from 5 as you breathe into your nose and filling up your belly, and counting from 7 as you breathe out to your mouth, hollowing the belly gently. Inhale 5 into the belly, exhale 7 out through the mouth. Now, if you're in a full-on shoulder stand or plow, gently lower your body and perhaps take a fish pose, because that is a great counterbalancing posture. And whether or not you were in full-on shoulder stand, I'll walk you through fish for those of you that want to do it. You straighten your legs forward on the ground, feet are together but relaxed, and then with the palms face down, you slip them underneath your glutes so that your thumbs can meet underneath your body. Then you puff up your chest and tilt your chin back, so it's definitely a throat chakra posture, opening the throat. And some of you might be able to lean the crown of your head onto the floor like you're looking at your rear wall upside down. Whatever degree, give yourself at least 3 deep exhalations through the mouth. And then when you're finished, draw your bent knees into your chest, maybe even rounding your back and lifting your head and shoulders as you squeeze in to hug your body, to hug yourself. Closing your eyes there. Take one more deep, controlled breath in. This time, fill up and hold it for a few seconds. Then see if you can sip in a little more air, squeeze in a little tighter, and then open your mouth, release everything. Let everything relax. Let your jaw unwind as you let go of controlling your breath. Let your eyes close as you soften the 4 corners of each eye. Let your skull be heavy, completely support as you relax your neck. Let your shoulders melt away from your ears and onto the earth. Feel the muscles all around your spine relax. Belly is soft. Glutes are soft. Feel the weight of thigh bones, knees, and shin bones as all the muscles surrounding them unwind. Let your feet soften. Let your arms and palms soften. Shavasana. Now, for those of you that would like to stay lying down or longer in Shavasana, feel free. Even when we close our class, you still want to stay in Shavasana. That is always a choice. Otherwise, if you'd like to join me sitting for 5 minutes of meditation, then please begin to move your body gently, taking your time to lift it upright and into a comfortable seat. As you turn your attention inward, you might continue to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. Steadying your focus as we begin. 5 minutes. Bringing your awareness back to your body, back to your physical space. Let's join the palms to meet at the heart, bowing in to close this practice. So stepping into the rest of your week, how do you practice cleanliness of body, mind, and environment? Saucha. Let's close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. Om.